Rob, it is great to have you back with us. For our listeners who may be joining in with us for the first time, I'm going to strongly recommend listen to Rob's first podcast where we talked about his journey through life situations and some health challenges and the like. Rob, you have learned through life experiences and so forth and God's direction in our lives how the body functions, how we can overcome various challenges in our lives. And I think through some of your life experience and research, there may be some medications that you have learned, we need to learn, are maybe not as good for the body as maybe some other approaches are. And Rob, I don't want to pretend that I have any insight into some of the research you've done, but I and our listeners, our entrepreneurial thinking listeners, are going to be very interested in learning what you have learned, and your insights might be justification for us to change our lifestyle.
Yeah, I love it. Thank you so much for taking giving me some time to talk about this because I think it's really important. It's literally what God has been training for my entire life, which I know that's a big statement, but I really honestly believe that He literally trained me to do what I'm doing today. And the last 5 years, from a health perspective, has really educated me on certain issues that are just really important. They're really impactful to people. It's like I believe that that's why I'm here on earth is to help people with their health, and then help them with their faith through their health is why I believe I'm here. And it's been so fascinating because, man, you asked me just 5 years ago if I was doing what I was doing today, I would have said you're absolutely insane. There's no way I'm going to be doing what I'm doing today. But man, it's amazing how he orchestrates people's lives, and the things I have learned are really impactful. It's really important because man, I grew up like most people, where you want to get help from a health perspective. You go to the doctor, and the doctor gives you a pill, and you take the pill, and you're better, right? How I grew up, and so I assumed that that was the way life was supposed to be, and through my own health circumstances as well as just life situations and things that I've learned, man, it's impactful. And so, yeah, I'm excited to just share with you some of those experiences and some of the things that I learned.
Rob, our listeners and Marty and I are very interested in learning what you have learned. I guess it may be appropriate to address any physicians, any of those in the medical staff who are listening, that it is not my purpose, and I suspect, Rob, it's not your purpose to denigrate anyone in the medical staff who would prescribe medication for, because I think that's the way a lot of the medical people are trained that some of those who prescribe medications don't know about holistic approaches. Some don't believe in them at all. But we're just here to present information, facts from your life experiences, and we'll let the listeners make the decision what they choose to do. So,
Yeah,
Rob, with
that's
that as somewhat of a disclaimer, let's go. We're very interested in learning what you've learned.
Yeah, I love it, and I also want to advocate that disclaimer. It's important, right? Because I think a lot of people in the healthcare system are amazing, right? That they went into the field to help people, and that's what their mission is to do, is to help people. So that's fantastic, right? And I want to applaud all of them. I think just unfortunately our system got put together in a way and changed in a way that is really detrimental to a lot of people's health. And so it's just you can look at the outcomes of our healthcare system in the United States, and it's really tragic compared to other countries. And it's amazing. We spend way more money than a lot of other countries, and we have our healthcare system is not as good as other countries. So there's definitely a problem. And as you dig into the details, which I don't want to bore people with, but when you dig into the details, you really see how our healthcare system was captured in the early 1900s and taken over in the United States. And now we're more, it's a pill for an ill society. And we've been trained that way. So, but that's okay, right? But if you go back and look at how God designed this incredible body, it's exciting that you can, if you give this human body the what it needs and the way God designed it to work, and you can give it the right things, God designed it to heal itself. Right. So I'm not advocating that I can heal anything, right? I'm just advocating that God designed this body amazing. It will heal itself if you give it the right setup, you give it the right nutrients, the right water, the things that God designed it to be and do, then guess what? Your body will do what it was designed to do. And so I'm having a lot of fun, and the things that he's trained me on these last 4 years are super exciting. So I'm
Rob,
literally,
I'm
yep,
gonna interject very quickly here. My mind
perfect,
right
perfect.
now goes to Robert Kennedy and the new food pyramid and so
Yes.
forth, and it'd be interesting to see how, and I'm talking totally extemporaneously, nothing rehearsed here, how what you're saying might align with or not align with the new health pyramid that Robert Kennedy has come up with.
Yeah, it's so impactful. I'm so excited that he is where he is and what he's doing because the food pyramid has been upside down, right? It's been totally wrong, and it's so exciting to understand because all the things that I was learning early on was about nutrition, right? It's like I was trained as a young athlete how that nutrition was really important to my running. And it really helped my running career dramatically when I was a runner. And then, when my health issues started, the pandemic hit, and that's when I started this whole deep dive into the healthcare system and the healthcare world. And nutrition, right, is key and core to how our bodies work. Literally, as I do research on the human body, we are physically what we eat, right? So everything that we put in our body utilizes to function. And so, man, the food pyramid is very, very important. And if you look at the way it was recommended that we have, it was totally wrong. It was complex carbohydrates and breads and things that were just, and it vilified the things that are really good for you, the good fats and things that are very, very healthy for you. So anyway, so yeah, make a long story short, I'm very, very excited about the pyramid and what it's doing because it's actually giving your body the nutrients it needs. As I'm doing research on the human body, your body needs about 96 nutrients every single day to do what it needs to do. And you don't get them through our food supply these days. It's just with all the ultra processed foods that we eat, and even our soil has been degraded to where it doesn't provide the nutrients that the soil of 20 years ago did. And so it's really, really hard to get the right nutrients you need into the human body today. So you have to supplement some of the nutrients that your body needs in order to get the nutrients that it does need. So that's an important part of my life story is nutrition, right? That's a big, big part of the solutions. So yeah,
You know, that's
I've
great.
worked. Go ahead.
No, that's great. Now, Rob, do I understand you have developed was it four principles, four aspects of nutrition and how the body functions best? Am I thinking correctly here?
Yeah, so I'm so excited because finishing up a book called Light Code. Light Code is all the things that the Lord has trained me on the last 5 years, and it's four pillars. The first pillar is the light pillar, and how you can use light therapy to help the body. God designed the sun, right? But then also looked at all the other therapies, and we'll talk about red light therapy as a key piece of that pillar. That's the first pillar. The second pillar is frequencies. I learned a ton about the human body and how it interacts with frequencies and how frequencies can have both a positive and a negative impact on our bodies. And that blew me away because I knew nothing about frequencies up until the last 5 years. So that's the second pillar. And the third pillar is hydrogen, or I call it the fuel pillar, because hydrogen and the nutrients, aka all the stuff we just talked about from a food perspective, getting those nutrients in the body fuel this human human temple that we've been given, right? So that is a really important pillar. And then the fourth pillar is our what I call faith. And the faith pillar is important because it really integrates the whole mind, body, spirit. As you look at our temple that we do have, our brain is so incredible. God designed our body so incredibly cool that your brain and your mind can control your body, which is unbelievable. But there's so much science behind that that it's irrefutable that your mind literally can control your body. And there's lots of evidence of spiritual healing, right? And spiritual confidence in that when you do have that connection to to God and to the Holy Spirit, that He can heal you and He can do things to you. So if you integrate that mind, body, spirit component into your health, I believe that's a really core pillar. So that those are the four pillars of what I've been trained on is light therapy, frequency therapy, and then fuel, aka hydrogen, is a big part of that, and then their faith. So those four pillars make up the light code.
Rob, talk to us a little bit more about the first pillar, light. Now,
Sounds good.
my thought goes into sunlight, and
Yes,
yeah, if we get too much sunlight, we can get skin cancer and so forth. And so, people are thinking skin protection and so forth. So, how do we, what's the term? Balance? How do we get the right amount of God's light, sunlight, and so
that's right.
forth, and whatever light is available without overdoing it to the point of skin cancer and so forth?
Yeah, that's a really important thing. In fact, I had ended up getting melanoma, but I did not get melanoma because of sun exposure. So it's very important that people understand that the sun doesn't necessarily cause cancer. So I think it's really important people understand that. We can go into deep detail on that discussion. But so the sun in and of itself is not bad, right? Too much of it can burn your body, and the burn is what is the bad piece. So, but the cool thing about the sun is that the first 45 minutes of the day, and I advocate this as a daily ritual, get out and get that first 45 minutes of sun. You don't have to be there whole 45 minutes, but if you get 5 or 10 minutes of that, it's called blue light that comes in that first 45 minutes of the day. And there's no UV rays, so it's not harmful whatsoever, and it's very beneficial to the body. And so that is really cool. So as I was learning those things, then I started looking at red light therapy, and because there was as I was going through my health issues, lots of recommendations to do and or not to do red light therapy. And so the more research I did about red light therapy and then infrared therapy, which goes down deep inside the skin from light, and then what it actually does inside the body, it literally helps your stem cells and your mitochondrial process work better. So it can literally go inside the body and start healing your things within the body. It can activate the natural healing mechanism that God designed in your body. The light can help reactivate stuff within the body. So light has been fascinating on how it can help you, and even deep inside the body, but even on the surface level, a lot, women love it from a wrinkle perspective, right? And a facial and skincare perspective. Just red light in and of itself is dramatically helpful for that. But you get people with chronic issues with pain. There's been thousands of studies of people getting help with red light just to reduce chronic inflammation and pain that they've had for decades. And all of a sudden they start using this red light therapy, and the body's repairing itself using this amazing therapy, right? It's just light. So there's no drugs that are going inside your body. It's just your body being exposed to healthy light. And what's fun about it is we combine the second pillar with our red light technologies. So we can combine a frequency therapy with the red light. So you're not only getting the red light that goes into the body and helping you, but we do have a frequency as well. So the frequency can interact with the body and help your body be in a better state to heal. So that's been really, really fun. We have a product that's we call it the pain relief patch and or frequency, and it helps the body with inflammation, right? And so it helps people with the feeling of pain. So that's been exciting to help people understand how to combine this frequency technology with the light therapy.
Let me ask you two separate questions about blue light followed by red light.
Sounds
Blue
good.
light, the first hour, 45 minutes or so of sunrise is what
Yes.
I'm hearing.
And then
In
sunset too.
Oh,
Both that
okay. I
so
wanted to ask you about the sunset as well.
yep,
Okay.
yep,
So the first 45 and the last 45 minutes of the day. And
correct.
so I was going to ask, so for the people who are not early risers, okay, it's okay to catch the last 45 minutes of the sunset. And
That's
so
right. That's right. And it's still, even during the day, you can get sun. So don't be afraid of the sun. In fact, be very leery of even sunscreen because it's actually stopping what the benefit of getting the actual sun that you do need. So there, you got to be cautious and not overdo it so you don't burn. But just getting out and getting sunlight on this human body is very, very important. As you research the human body and you research vitamin D, it's really impactful and important to the human body to get sun.
now, would I be correct, Rob, in thinking that go outside and experience outside the blue light and sunrise or sunset, not inside the house in the kitchen and
That's
just
right. That's
through the
right.
light that way, but actually
Yeah.
be outside
Being
experiencing
actually
the direct.
outside. That's
Yeah.
right. Be
Okay.
outside, and then one of the reasons why I do it, I combine three of my things when I go out. So three of my seven daily things that I do outside, because you take your socks and shoes off, and you get your feet on God's given earth, and it's called grounding, and that is very, very important. It really discharges the negative energy in your body and recharges the energy system in your body. So, and just do that by getting your feet on the ground and you're getting the sun. So you're combining two of those therapies just by being out in on God's given planet, right? Getting your feet on the grass and or dirt, and it's very beneficial. You're getting some of that sun, and then I combine it with breathing techniques, to be honest, because there's something while you're out there. You be out there for it's recommended 5-10 minutes at least, and you get out there, and if you do these breathing techniques. You can do research on Wim Hof, Wimhoff, and his breathing techniques are really amazing. He teaches you how to breathe in deep and then breathe out correctly, and you do it in a specific sequence. And with that specific sequence, you only have to do it for 7 minutes and it has been documented that it could potentially add 7 years to your life if you just breathe and if you just breathe correctly. So it's like, wow, why not? I mean, we're gonna breathe anyway, right? So you might, if you do it in a specific way for a short period of time, it really rejuvenates the body, and so it's super exciting when you see that. So you get a bunch of oxygen in the body. In fact, when you first learn how to do it, they want you to sit because when you're doing the breathing techniques, your body's getting such an influx of oxygen that some people have known to pass out because their
Wow.
body has gotten so much good oxygen that oxygenating the body is super important, right? Our disease can't live in an oxygenated environment, so it's really important to get oxygen in. So
I
there
need to
you go.
ask you a very practical question, Rob.
Yeah.
We are recording this podcast on January 27, 2026.
Yes.
You in Texas, we in Maryland have just experienced a very major weather pattern. What I'm trying to do is build up to, hey, for to be outside on a January 26th kind of day in bare feet trying to touch dirt.
Yeah.
And some of us are, nope, that's not practical today with single digit temperatures and so forth. But Rob, how important is it to be in the natural light in the cold weather kind of thing? How do we mitigate that?
Yeah, that's a really really good question because I lived in Oregon for 30 years where it's like it's cloud covered 9 months out of the year, so I totally understand it. But yeah, you do what you can. But even if you get when you it is great still if you can get outside, get your coat on and stay warm, but get some of that natural sunlight onto your skin, onto your face. And that even if it's you're really cold outside, it's still going to help you don't have to do the grounding with your feet, right? That's gonna be really tough in 10 degrees and snow. But you just try to. There are actually grounding mats that you can buy and things you can do that if you're in that situation all the time and you know it's going to be that way, then you can invest in some grounding mats that will give you the same effect as if you were going outside and doing that. But some of those are, they can get expensive. Some of them are like $5,000 for a grounding mat. I'm like, come on, why spend $5,000 when you can go outside, right? But some people, when they know that they can't get outside and they still want to have that discharge of negative energy and recharging of the positive energy, they will get grounding mats.
Now, let me ask you about the red light. Some people may think of the tanning booth, and
Right.
I think that's a red light kind of thing. I'm guessing you're not talking about encapsulating yourself into a tanning booth to get the red light, but something different from that. But I don't want to suppose, Rob.
No, that's an awesome conversation because yeah, the tanning beds are really bad for you, right? They're not going to help. But if you do these red light beds, the red light is really amazing because they all have multiple chips within the LED lights, and it's usually got red light, and then it's got most of them will have the near infrared light as well. It's literally light that you can't see. But that near infrared goes about an inch deep inside the body. So when you have chronic issues like pain in your shoulder or pain in your back, and you're using the red light, not only does it help, the red light helps the surface level, the near infrared goes deep inside the body, and that's about 880 hertz or whatever is the technical term. And then they even have a more powerful one, some of these frequency lights that are about 1,000. So they're really good for people with cognitive issues. They will put on these helmets that have red light, and the red light goes really deep into the brain. It's so very, very helpful. So yeah, good question, good clarification. So it's not a tanning bed. And then we have like these mats where you can lay on the mats, a full body mat. You can just lay it down on your bed and you can lay it either on top of it or you can lay the mat on top of you. Or there's other ones where you can literally it's like a sleeping bag. You can get in and it does both sides of you. And then we even have these little wands where it has a red light therapy wand is very targeted so you can get help if you have arthritis in your hand. You can use these little targeted devices. And then we have these devices, the face mask. Where's the face mask? Just the women love this one because it really helps with your collagen production of the face and helps with the wrinkles. But it's pretty fascinating. It looks like you're wearing I can't even remember the name of the horror movie, but it looks like you're wearing one of those masks. But this one's pretty cool. It literally has red light on it, and there you go. Come on, you turn it on. It's got lights on the back, and
Yep.
you just have
All
it
right.
on. You have a little strap around you, and you put it on for 30 minutes, and it's amazing. It really, really, really helps with anything. Here's the lights, so you put it on the body, and looks like Michael or whatever it was from that horror movie, but it's really, really beneficial, red light. So I'm super excited about red light therapy just because of the benefits. The more you research the actual health benefits of it, it's like undeniable. It's like, wow, okay, that really, really is helping people, and it's not that expensive. We have these mats that are amazing. They're like $700, and it's compared to about an $8,000 panel. You can buy a panel of red light, and it's really expensive. It's like holy smokes! Or you can buy a red light therapy bed for $15,000. Like holy moly, that gets really expensive. So you can either find a place that has those red light therapy beds and they rent them for probably $100 or something a session, or we have these mats that are $600 or $700 and you can use it all the time and do two or three times a day, and it gets you overall body red light. And then that's why we add our frequencies to it as well, because we want to do even more than just red light. We want to help you with the frequency, and then we even are adding the third pillar that we haven't talked about yet is that fuel one, the one we talked about with the nutrition. And then we have this hydrogen component. We've got a supplement that's got 7 biblical herbs and superfoods in it that give you the nutrients that you're missing, but then it's got this molecular hydrogen blend that is really impactful. That comes with this Exodus product. And then when you put the supplement inside your body, it interacts with your stomach, and then your body creates molecular hydrogen. And then you start researching what molecular hydrogen does inside the body. And that gets exciting because it acts as a master antioxidant. So as you're in your bloodstream, it will go find the zombie cells and or sentient cells is what they're called, and it will remove the bad cells from your body. And then it helps the mitochondrial process, which is your energy producers of your cells. It helps it work better. So the molecular hydrogen component works on the inside of your body. We use the light therapy and the frequency therapy for the external, and then getting into the body from the external. And then we combine the fourth pillar, which is the faith pillar, and we have a prayer guide that goes along with every product. So we literally want you to every day declare out loud with your mouth. The Bible tells us there's power in your tongue. So you declare over yourself good health, and then you actually say a Bible verse out loud, and you say a prayer. So you're declaring your health, you're reading a Bible verse, and you're saying a prayer. And the combination of those, you're using your eyes, your mouth, and your ears. You're using multiple senses that God gave you to help you with your health. Um, so the whole mind, body, spirit connection in combination with the molecular hydrogen inside the body, and then the frequency therapy and the red light in addition, it's just an unbelievable combination that it can help people dramatically. So it's like I believe God has me here on this earth to just help people, because you don't have to do it all, right? You can do one piece of the puzzle if that's the issues that you're having, or you can make a major overhaul in your health just by combining all four pillars.
Rob, I want to go back very briefly to the red light therapy.
Perfect.
You showed what was looked much like a flashlight, but
Yes.
that would be if we're experiencing, let's say, maybe a pain in a very isolated part of our body. We could, for some period of time, shine that red light flashlight on that
Yeah, it's
area, and
literally a targeted device is what we call it, right? So the mat is going to do like the whole body, right? You're going to lay on it and it's going to get everything. But it's hard to carry that mat with you, right? When
right.
you're going places. But this thing is amazing. It's really really small, and if you have problems with your fingers, right? You can just do it on your fingers. You just set it there and you do it for 5 minutes, 7 minutes, and it does amazing things for the body. You can feel a little, like just right now, I can feel a little bit of heat, and then it's literally going inside the body. And this has got both that infrared and near infrared, so it's going all the way through my finger, right? The therapy is. So it's absolutely incredible, right? And you can do this on your elbow, you can do it on your back, you can do it on your neck, you can do it anywhere.
So
And it's
for the
mobile, right?
per-
You can take it with you.
for, for the person who has arthritis in their fingers, that would be the perfect solution for that. Am I thinking correctly?
Yeah, 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 and even the mat is great too because you can just lay on it and have your hand, your whole hands and your arms and everything getting on it. But yeah, the targeted device is amazing for, especially you're going somewhere. You can stick it in your purse, and you can have it with you when you're not at home. But then the mat is just so much more convenient, right? Because then you can get like the whole the whole arm and the whole hand in just using this mat. So
Okay. Now,
I want to ask, does the light that you just showed us, does that cure the arthritis?
well, yes, because what I'm not going to say it can cure anything, right? Because
Yeah.
I can't legally ever say that. But what it does is it works with the mitochondrial process of the body, and then your body does the healing, right? So your body will do what it's supposed to do, and it will in a lot of people's cases, it's been proven to help people heal. And so that's what's fun. I mean, the science says it will, which is pretty cool. And it's proven many cases of that happening. In fact, I just read a recent one. This gentleman had chronic back pain for a decade, right? And he couldn't figure out. He tried everything, but then he started doing red light therapy and did three 30-minute sessions a day, and about a week later, his pain that he'd had for a very long time had been healed, right? It had gone away, and so it's like, wow, it's so exciting to see. And what you're doing is you're reactivating the stem cells, and you're helping the mitochondrial process that God designed. You're just helping it along, right? You're giving it the resources it needs, and that's why we combine that molecular hydrogen component with it as well, because that's helping inside the bloodstream. So you're not only helping inside the bloodstream, you're helping the external with the red light, and we're combining it all, right? And then you use the prayer guide, and you're using your mind to say, "Hi, my arthritis is going to get better, right? I am going to be healed, and I'm going to say a prayer to the Lord. Maybe the Lord will actually just touch them and heal them, right? Which would be amazing. But when you combine all four of those, it really is dramatic.
no, I totally understand that. Let me ask you about the fuel part. Are you an advocate of the listener saying you've got to get off red meat, get off of stop, and you've got to become a vegetarian or something of that nature? Or is it a matter of moderate your intake and combine it with what you showed very briefly, your Exodus
Yep.
medication?
Yeah, I think it's very important to eat whole foods. And so I think everybody, there's lots of different diets, and each diet is good for certain issues, and not everybody's the same. So I'm not gonna I can't make a blanket statement that says this is the best diet for you. But what I can do is tell you that whole foods are very important instead of the ones that have the ultra processed ones that have a million ingredients and no nutrients, right? So I'm a big believer in whole foods, and I am a big believer in meats and red meats and healthy fats, right? Fat is very important too, especially your cognitive brain, right? Our body needs those fats. But whatever health condition you are in, you find yourself in, that wherever whatever circumstances have gotten to where you are, great. Let's just figure out ways that whatever your issues are, you can start improving and make incremental improvements. And nutrition and the nutrients you're putting into the body are key. So yes, you need whole foods because that's going to give you those nutrients, like those 96 nutrients, right? I mentioned, and that's why with Exodus we have barley grass and wheatgrass that are part of the solution. And so you're getting really good nutrients that are helping oxygenate the body just because you're finally getting some good nutrients inside the body, right? And then we include saffron. Saffron's very good for mood and stress. And very expensive product. Saffron's actually more expensive than gold, which is pretty crazy. But then you add aloe, and aloe is very good for gut health. Gut health is really important. And then we include cumin and then frankincense and myrrh. And those three ingredients help with the inflammation response in the body. And so if you can reduce inflammation in the body, then some people's pain or arthritis or other health issues are caused because of inflammation. So if you can reduce inflammation, that's very, very beneficial to the human body. And then you combine it with that molecular hydrogen, and molecular hydrogen helps with the energy production in the body and helps with that getting rid of the bad cells in the body. And so they're synergistic, all those nutrients that you get from the herbs and superfoods that we put in the supplement, and then you add the molecular hydrogen, and it's just an awesome. But it doesn't replace what you're eating, right? So it is very, very important that you eat whole foods and you eat them well. And of course, yes, I do advocate for a lot of good, healthy nutrients, right? So getting the good greens inside the body are very important because that's where a lot of the nutrients are coming from, right? Are those.
Should every person get a nutritional analysis, body analysis to determine exactly where the body is deficient in whatever nutrients and so forth? Rob, I'm not sure I'm asking the right question, but
No, that's actually a
uh,
very, very good question.
I'm assuming that not everybody's internal body is exactly the same.
That's very, very important. That's what's really exciting about some of the new technology that's coming out is that you can go get some blood tests and you can get your blood analyzed and you can see where you're deficient, right? Because you may be deficient in magnesium and I may be deficient in vitamin B, right? And so you and I shouldn't be taking the same things and or eating the right foods that are going to give us those nutrients, right? So you can change the food that you eat as well as the supplementation that you do based upon your specific situation. So I think that's why I'm so excited about AI and technology isn't because of AI, it's because of I can take in my body and my biomarkers and my heart rate variability and my blood might mark up and say, okay, how do I improve that? And what nutrients or what foods can I start eating now that are going to give me the nutrients that I'm deficient in? And it's fun because every single person is different. And so it is important that you do get your blood work done and start analyzing where you're deficient. And then you can even go the next step, which are genetic testing. You can get these genetic testings, and because some of the actual supplements your body may not process correctly, right? Because of just the genetic makeup of your body. So you may have to add something else to get the right nutrient based upon the way your body operates, which is also fascinating. So it can be really complex. You can make it as complex as you want, right? And as difficult as you want, or you can just make it very simple and say, I need to get the right nutrients that God design his body to need, and just start somewhere, right? If you start somewhere and you start getting the nutrients in the body and you start making incremental improvements every day. It's why I try to tell people there's 7 things that you should do every day that are just free that you should do. And if you do those things, then everything else will start. You get excited because your body starts functioning the way that it's supposed to, and then you start feeling better, and then it gets addictive. You're like, hey, I like feeling good. I like sleeping well at night, right? I like getting up refreshed and having energy during the day. So maybe I'll keep doing these things, and then it just gets fun because then you want to go help people, and that's what I am so passionate about. This is, man, if we get people off the couch and not sick, then they can go have that conversation with their neighbor. They can go have a conversation with their loved one, and they can make this world that we live in a better world. And so I'm super super excited about that. But if you're sick and you're sitting on the couch, you're not helping anybody right now. You're not helping yourself, and you're not helping your loved ones, and you're not helping society. And let's be better people, right? Let's get our bodies. We only have one temple, and we all know that our time is going to expire at some point. So let's just make sure we take care of what we do have, and then let's make the best out of what we do have, and then let's help others try to do the same.
Marty and I are right on board with you, Rob. I want to bring this in for a landing with a final question, and maybe embedded in it is a request that we are learning about neurodiversity, autism, ADHD, obsessive compulsive disorders, and so forth,
Yes.
we are learning about the gut brain interconnect. I want
Yes.
to ask you, would you feel comfortable addressing the possibility of what we're discussing, the nutrients and so forth? Could that help the person who is neurodiverse? And one of the things we're learning is the neurodiverse person sometimes has an inflammatory brain, which causes some outbursts and so forth, meltdown, some people call it. Would you feel, and I apologize if I'm asking an inappropriate question while we're recording, but would you feel comfortable addressing that the possibility of nutrients and how it could be a positive benefit to neurodiverse people?
Yeah, I think that's really very important because one of the things you mentioned is key to that conversation, right? You mentioned inflammation, right? And that inflammation is caused for some reason, and that's what's so important about the gut is that your gut controls the entire body, right? What you're actually consuming to put in the body is processed by your gut. And if your gut is not operating the way it's supposed to, it's not going to utilize the nutrients the way it should, right? So gut health is really, really key to your health. In fact, I interview holistic doctors on my podcast every week. It's Biohackingville is my podcast, and the one I'm interviewing those holistic practitioners, they all say your health starts in your gut. And then, the inflammation, all disease starts with inflammation, right? So it's like, if you get your gut healthy and get your gut doing, processing the nutrients well, then guess what? It starts reducing inflammation throughout the body. And then when you reduce the inflammation throughout the body, other problems and other health conditions that you have that are a cause of that inflammation, they start to subside and or can resolve in a lot of cases, right? So I think the gut brain connection is very, very real. There's lots of scientific proof and evidence of the gut brain connection. They call your gut the second brain, right? And so because it controls this body in a really, really dramatic way. So I think that it wasn't an inappropriate question. It's a very appropriate question. I'm not a doctor, right? I'm not, but I am just a person. I'm an athlete, an ex-athlete who is just super passionate about this temple that God gave us. And I'd love to do research. I love to do research on nutrients and how they help the body. And I love to just research how God designed this body and how we can utilize natural things to help it. And so, man, you can get your gut well. That's something you can control, right? You can figure out ways to get your gut to operate in an efficient way. And then when you get your gut working well, man, the other organs start working the way they're supposed to work. So it's just a super great question, in my opinion, that yes, that is important. And can it actually make an effect on people's cognitive thinking and or actions? Yes, 100%. And
Wow.
Rob Renee's un unscientific, not a doctor, that my opinion is yes, it can be very impactful.
And let's table that right now, or let's just tell our listeners look forward to a third episode with Rob René, where we will discuss the gut brain interconnect as
That'd
it
be great.
relates to neurodiversity, the inflamed brain, and so forth, how all this can work together to within our God created temple body, how this can all work to the greater benefit to ourselves and others. Rob, I want to I'll express our appreciation on behalf of our listeners. Every bit of research you have done so far in the future to come, we're looking forward to a third episode with you. And thank you so much for everything that you are doing for all of us and all of humanity.
Yeah, Ron and Marty, it's been a huge pleasure. And actually, just as a teaser to this next conversation, we have a helmet that we utilize for what we're talking about. That includes red light therapy. It goes really deep into the brain. It includes frequency therapy that goes into the brain, and it really is impactful on the the cranial condition and the issues that we're talking about. So it will be very fun to talk through that specific thing, and then we can talk about how the gut actually does control a lot of things that happen within the brain. So man, if you can help with both, you're going to make a huge difference in people's cognitive abilities and people who are struggling with those issues. So it'll be a fun episode next time.
We're stimulated. Rob, thank you so much for stimulating our thoughts. We look forward to a third episode with you. In the meantime, have a great furtherance in your research.
Hey, God bless you. I really appreciate you.
God bless.